Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Cleveland Browns Carolina Panthers halftime show with a tie game at 17-17. Oh, why am I getting that? Oh, I must be getting feedback from my other channel. Let me do this. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that, folks. I'm running this. Hi to everybody in the chat room. Can Ken make it? Mr. Moohead is a gamer. Yeah, Tony the Calf is full of shit. Hey, Brian, how you doing? Nay. Mr. X, well, other than a few so-so plays, they look decent. Austin DeGray, how you doing? Need linebackers and receivers in the draft. Yeah, Higgins hasn't exactly been fantastic, has he? Rick May, welcome back, Mr. Moohead. Going to Christmas program with my cousin this afternoon. Be back tomorrow night. Good to have you back. And Mark Jones, how you doing? Newton fumble overturn sucked. Well, his hand was technically moving forward, but to be honest with you, the rule is a little bit goofy. Mark Jones says, wow, this is dedication. I should show you what the knee looks like, folks, but I don't really want to gross you out. But it's amazing that Tony the Calf would actually start a stream and use my name on it and denigrate my name, saying that I was not going to be back for a long while. I guess anything to score some ratings. What a prick. Now that I've got that out of my, and then having the nerve to say, oh, you moved 6 inches. Look, I'm walking around the house. I'm doing whatever the hell I can do to try to get through this. And it's tough, man, because all of the nerve blocks are gone now. The knee is swollen way up. And maybe I can show you this. This is, if I can move the leg, this is really gross. Let's see if I can actually show you this. You getting any of this? I don't know. What do you think? Can you see that? At any rate, for what it's worth. Yeah, it's a challenging thing. That much I would tell you. Let's put this back on the correct way. So, how's everyone doing? Nice to see our viewers jumping in. In a football game where the Browns should be ahead if Higgins catches a touchdown pass and if the Browns defense was actually trying to tackle anybody. This is an ongoing issue with this football team. And to be honest, again, every week, Greg Williams is out here auditioning for a job. And I'm not talking about the head coaching job. I'm talking about the defensive coordinator position, because, if I were being approached as a head coach to come to Cleveland, I'd want to bring my own defensive coordinator. I wouldn't want to just settle for the guy who was here before. And these guys aren't tackling. Jamie Collins is pathetic, just pathetic. I mean, just pushing people with his arms outstretched, really rotten. The defense has just not been any good. And they're allowing a guy with a sore shoulder to throw over the middle consistently and not forcing him to throw out patterns, which seems unusual under the circumstances, but that seems to be exactly what's happening. And they're scoring more points than they should. Steven's in there saying, ouch. Yeah, Hey, Roxanne, how you doing? Roxanne, yeah, bruises. I thought you were into that shit. Cindy says, not too bad. Well, yeah, the thing is that you really can't see the incision yet because of the waterproof bandage that's on it. Looks like Hugh Jackson took a bite out of your leg. Yeah, he can go swimming somewhere. Hey, Bronk, how you doing? It's a tasty leg of cow. That's right. It is a cow shank. Lots of marbling. Anthony Stone, wrap up when you tackle. Isn't that the truth? God damn. They shut down McCaffrey, but got killed by everyone else. I mean, they're giving up the middle of the field. This quarterback, the only few balls that he's thrown out haven't made it that far. You would think that they would be protecting the middle of the field, but maybe that makes too much damn sense. Do I think that Greg Williams will not be defensive coordinator? Well, I can tell you this. If I were a head coach coming to Cleveland, I'd insist on having my own. I don't, I guess to the victor goes the spoils, right? I think Greg will stay, Anthony Stone says. Well, if the owner of the team is telling a new head coach that he has to have a defensive coordinator, then idiot Jimmy didn't learn anything from his last ridiculous circumstances. Thank you, Wable. I appreciate it. I love this football team. I've been doing these shows for 15 years. The bottom line is I physically could not do a show on Friday. It was what was disappointing to me. I was supposed to go in at 8:30 in the morning for my procedure, and I got pushed back until 1 o'clock. I was the last surgery on the docket. By the time I got out of there, I was still halfway high on anesthesia. And I was nauseated by it, so I couldn't do the program. My apologies, but under the circumstances, And Cindy is saying Cam has other injuries too, besides his shoulder, that he won't even talk about. And the Browns aren't doing anything to pressure him. Yeah, I know, Stephen, and I don't like what was said by one of you, and I'll leave it at that. And it wasn't you. But if you're going to use my name on a broadcast, I would appreciate A, knowing that you're going to do it, and B, not just to have one of the people who initiated the stream say nasty things about me. Mr. X, now let's see what happens in the second half. Will they go into idle mode or actually try to score points? I think Baker is doing what he can. I don't understand the Jarvis Landry option pass. I don't get that at all. The wide receiver pass when Baker's throwing everything on the money. Why let a wide receiver throw the ball? That's that weird trick play bullshit again that I'm really not, not understanding. Bronk is saying watching a Moohead show without Moohead, it would be like watching scabs during an NFL strike. Well, no, I mean, the guys have the right to do a program, but, and I think Steven and I think Brian were respectful. I don't think Tony was. They throw a bomb to Perriman and then target Higgins, who cost us 14 points. Yeah, Higgins has been very good with his hands, and that ball was right on the money. I'm surprised that he dropped that ball. Really, I mean, especially seeing as how Njoku caught the one that he caught, and that Higgins caught the one just 2 plays earlier. Can Ken make it? I didn't expect any shows this weekend. I kept saying you go day to day, you just don't know. And the pain is getting worse in the knee because, like I said, all of the nerve blocks and all are wearing off. And so, I got to start my physical therapy tomorrow. We'll see how I feel after PT about doing a show. But I'm doing PT at 10:30 in the morning, and the show's not until 6. I have time to ice down and do things. So I'm happy. My pain medication is hydrocodone. It doesn't cloud my head. I'm very sharp. And at the same time, it does a good enough job to allow me to sleep at night. So that's kind of an added extra bonus. Nice D by Chubb. Yeah, the throw by Landry was, ill-advised, and Chubb did a good job to get in the way of it. Panthers going to win 38-20, Austin Talk says. Well, if they put up 38 points against the Cleveland Browns, they will win. I just don't believe that's going to happen. Nerve blocks are fun. They don't last long enough, Brock. Anthony Stone, PT will hurt, but you'll get better each day. Had back surgery and walking every day helped. Yeah, I was up on it walking today, and it is kind of interesting how it warms up a little bit. It feels a little bit better. The halftime stats. I mean, Baker's only thrown the ball 10 times. I mean, he's got an 152 quarterback rating. He's thrown 8 times for 176 yards. The thing is that our vaunted running game with Nick Chubb is averaging only 4.1 yards per carry, but he's only carried the ball 7 times. And that's because they've had the ball. The defense isn't making stops. And you can't, in the great scheme of things, we'll go into team stats here and take a look at the time of possession. And it's 18-11 in favor of the Panthers. And that's how teams with injured quarterbacks survive. You've got to force him not to have that guy over the middle who's his first read so wide open. And, and the Browns defensive line has to get more physical, and you can't keep playing from behind. The Cleveland Browns just have to assert themselves and get some distance between themselves and the Panthers so that, so that it's not going to hinge on the defense. Because right now, I don't understand how this late in the season, we're in week 14, how the team is just not tackling still. That concerns me. And, there's a lot of criticism of Denzel Ward tackling too high, and that's why he ended up with a concussion. But at least he tackles the guys who are out there. I mean, we're missing a slew of tackles, way, way, way too many. At any rate, I'm thrilled with the way Baker's playing. He's by far the best of the young quarterbacks that we're seeing in the NFL right now. It was great watching the NFL promo. They're saying Darnold and Allen and then Baker. It's like, oh, yeah, Baker, Peyton, right? You know who he is, Big Ben. You know who he is when you go by the first name. Baker Mayfield is a star, folks. He is a very, very fine quarterback. And boy, when he steps into the throw, it was nice to see Perryman catch that first ball. But boy, that had some air under it and some distance. Yeah, and Wable, you're right. They do quite well without the failed trickery. Why that keeps coming back, I don't know. Hi, Perf Notch, how you doing? Baker's come a long way with his ball fakes. That Statue of Liberty was beautiful. Yeah, he's using more sleight of hand back there, and that can help. There was only one run where Chubb really was able to get his feet moving. He had a good game that way, but he's being trapped in the backfield pretty well. If Browns tackle better, they will win, Anthony says. Campbell still get big gains, but yards after catch is killing the Browns. I loved Stockton jinxing Mayfield. Yeah, there you go. I didn't even know that Dick Stockton was still alive, to tell you the truth. He kind of looks like he's decomposing. I don't know. We need to play with 4 linebackers, 1 safety, and let him throw the ball. Yeah, I'd say that what we got to do is we've got to get some disguise in our defense to make him think that he's safe throwing the ball into certain zones. And if his shoulders hurt, have him throw into an area where we can pick something off. He was picked off 4 times last week, so that should be possible. Happy that you're back. Thank you, Robert. It's good to be back. And Baker is a regular Penn and Teller. And there's Dick Stockton with the crew, Chris Carter and Schlereth. They're getting ready for the second half of the football game. So let me do this. We'll be back after the game. And it'll be on the post-game show, I promise. I will be there. Links will be there as well. And if you want to be on the panel after the program, that goes for everybody. That goes for Tony, even though he was a prick. And everybody, please join the post-game show. That's something that it will be good to hear your voices. It'll lift my spirits. So thanks, everybody, for tuning into this halftime show. It's 17-17. Go Browns in the second half. Let's hope that Baker can maintain his level of excellence and hope that offensive line continues to block for him and see if we can get ahead of these guys and force them to play from behind. I'll see you after the game. Until then, hasta la vista, Pasture Heads. Go Browns.